Excellent. So, good evening, everybody, and I trust that you are well, that you've had a good week, that all is well with you and yours. And I have done that thing again. It is a great day to be alive. We are in the midst of an amazing season. God is at work, and I hope that you have seen it in all your businesses, wherever it is you're functioning. Today is a new month. We are talking about trust this month, and I think it's a really interesting topic. And it's a good place to start a new month. So this month, the topic is the business of trust, and what we're doing this month is just working on ensuring that we can keep close to our customers trust us, our customers are comfortable with us, and that we have a stable income, because trust is directly affects our income. So that will be the focus of this month. As mentioned a bit earlier, our tech this evening has tried to show us dust. We have not accepted to be shown dust, and we have quickly adapted. So you will allow me to be using my document as is. So today we're talking about customer relationships that last, because when we talk about the business of trust, what we're talking about is building relationships that strengthen retention, reach, and reputation. If you've been with us over the last couple of months, we've talked extensively about different marketing options. We have also talked extensively about how to ensure that everything matches our bottom line. We've spoken about balancing our finances. We've spoken about how do we build systems, which is what we're doing in the last series. Now, this series looks at our customers as an integral part of our community, and therefore a very critical demographic who must be managed, because our people buy from those they know, like, and trust. We've done know in terms of visibility and accessibility. We've also done like in terms of having a good product, people knowing that there's a reliable it's a reliable standard, it's relatable, and it's findable where they want. So now we are doing the trust conversation. So I know that it will go well. You see, when we think about it, many of us spend more time asking, how do I get more customers, than asking, why do my best customers stay? Now, if you want to ever do good market research, those are the guys you must look at. Why are they still with you? 15, 20 years down the line, 6 purchases later, why do they stay? Because when we talk about growth, we usually look at it as a marketing problem when it is actually an acquisition problem. When we want to grow more, many of us say, let's market more. But who are we marketing to? We must know that customer. What are their preferences? We must be clear what they prefer. How do we retain them? That becomes the third dimension of it. So whereas acquiring a new customer is important, keeping one is transformational. After all, in a class I was in last week, we're told it's easier to convert a lead than a suspect. So is this person a consistent lead? And another set of people we don't always look at is customers who've stopped buying, right? So if we are going to be sustainable, we must consistently earn the next purchase, and we must consistently build trust, because trust is the bridge between the first purchase and the decision to return, and the next choice to return, and the next one to return in perpetuity. So when we understand that our customers, it's not mandatory that they come back, right? It's not mandatory that you show back up here every Tuesday. It is because you have found something in this ecosystem that answers your need. Therefore, you come back to learn it. We can't just sit here and assume that we know why you come. So why is this important? Okay, let me use this to navigate. You see, markets are very competitive. I like to think as markets as our bus stops used to be. So in Kenya, before we got the SACCO system and the bus stops got managed, you got your customers by being the first in line. So there was a lot of pushing and shoving and trying to get ahead of one another. The other thing I like to think about our markets in terms of is if you find the street vendors in Nairobi on the street in the evening, you have all these women from end to end who are all selling the same vegetables, pretty much. In one line, you'll always find somebody with onions, tomatoes, carrots, um, tangerines, oranges, and you'll find like the tangerines, oranges are usually 3 or 4 people on the same line. So, what is it that makes certain customers go to certain people? We must understand that they have choices galore. Galore. You are not the only person in the market. So, how do you now then become the category of one, which is the category where you stand out so distinctively that people don't? It's a no brainer. We're laughing in a certain meeting recently where people call a product cluster by a certain brand that they know better. Remember when you're told, Nilete close up your Colgate, bring me the close up of Colgate? What Colgate became was the name synonymous to the cluster of toothpaste. So when I say margarine, and let's put this in the chat. Let me see the conversation in the chat. If I say margarine, who do you think of first? If I say margarine, who do you think of first? Let me see us put that in the chat. Blue band, exactly. If I say laundry detergent, what's your first thought? Oh, exactly. Okay. If I say fuel, petrol station, let me say petrol station. Total. Anyone else? Petrol station, what's your first thought? Exactly. So depending on age and what came earliest, some of us will be Shell, some of us will be Total. If I say hospital in Nairobi, what would come to mind? Hospital in Nairobi. All right. For some, it's Kenyatta. For some, it's Nairobi Hospital. So you can see that there are names that are synonymous with clusters. Last one. If I say soda, well, last two. Soda, who's your first thought? Mhm. Coca-Cola. Water. When you say bottled water, bottled water. Bottled water is Coke, so that could be Dasani. Excellent. Now, Coca-Cola has a history over 250 years old. Why are they still the go-to person? Because they meet the needs of the people in their cluster. But if you talk to Coca-Cola, what they're not dealing with, they're not soda dealers. What do you think Coca-Cola, their prime product is, or their prime need do they meet? What prime need does Coca-Cola meet? Distribution, no. Functions, no. Not entertainment. Yes, thirst. So anybody in any category who answers the thirst question is their competition. Here we are saying, me, I'm just a lotion. No, no, no. You are helping women be beautiful. So you're in the beauty industry. So when we intentionally build trust, we reduce customer churn, which is how our customers in and out. We generate referrals and we receive better reviews, therefore spend less acquiring replacement customers. Now, back to Coca-Cola. In the late 90s, early 2000s, another local soft drink brand came and went head to head with Coca-Cola and did not win the fight. However, now we have more than there are about three other companies. One is a big international, Yes, softer. One is a big international conglomerate, but there are other smaller local brands who have come in and have been able to take a foot in the market. Will they unseat Coca-Cola? Highly unlikely. Why? Because we know when we open our Fanta, when we open our Sprite, when we open our Stony, we are looking for a very specific taste, right? So, yes, price matters. Yes, quality matters. Yes, convenience matters. However, our customer relationships are a strategic business asset. We need that to sink. Customer relationships are a strategic business asset. They are no longer things we can say, there are many people in the market. Yes, there are. We are 5 billion in the world. I think we're almost 7 billion actually now. However, what percentage need a product in your category and what percentage know you, like you, and trust you? You guys all know I have my favorite shea butter products across two companies, but there is my primary product that I use. Okay? So, are you top of mind for your customers on that trust equation? So, let's define a few things. Let's define a few things. Trust is the confidence a customer has that your business will consistently deliver what it promises. And it is built one interaction at a time. So, your customer could trust you today. Speak up. You ignore them. You disappear. And they vamoose. They take off because it's built one interaction at a time. I loved Tuskies. I always shopped into Tuskies until they began struggling financially and no longer had the capacity for me to complete a shopping in their building. They were convenient. They were there by the stage, right? Do you know that the place where their shop was is now a series of exhibition stalls? They're much smaller stalls, much smaller shops. I still pass there. But another brand came up and have been consistently meeting my need at the necessary price point, so I shop there. So it is the confidence that you will consistently deliver what you promise. Customer relationship is the ongoing experience your customer has with your business before, during, and after purchase. Many of us focus on before and during. We forget after. And it is inexistent as long as money continues to change hands from theirs to yours. But the reason the money continues to change hands is that you continue to deliver on the promise you made. So, for instance, one batch of your produce goes the wrong way, that is money out the door. I remember there's a very specific brand of water I no longer touch because it used to be excellent, but now it has a metallic taste. There's something in the filtration system. I just moved brands. I went back to the Holy Grail, the one I had used all my life, that I'm very comfortable with, that is still fair price. So if you would behave like that and I would behave like that, then our customers behave the same way. Therefore, customer retention is the ability of a business to keep customers returning time and time again. It is evidence that they see continued value. Please grab that word, value. They see continued value in choosing you. So let us not assume that just because these guys have always come, then they will always stay. Not necessarily. They stay because it is meaningful. And this is why we are talking about the relationship economy. Our businesses are maintained by the relationship economy. We think that we only compete on product, price, or promotion, place, convenience. No, we compete in relationships. People buy where they trust. People buy where they know. People buy where they like. They recommend businesses they believe in, businesses that communicate honestly. So trust becomes a competitive edge. Grow by transactions, yes, but not by transactions alone. We grow through the trust that these relationships carry. So, seeing a decline in your sales, before you go screaming at your staff members for, hey, they didn't do, they did, look at your customers. Are they dissatisfied with something? Is it something you have been able to do before? Is it a new thing? Right? Because trust is carried. Relationships are the kyodo, the basket that carries trust. And if for whatever reason your basket wears out and the strap cuts and you keep carrying it like that, and the carry is uneasy and you begin to pour out your mangoes and oranges, you are losing customers just the same way. None of us goes to the market with a cut basket or a torn carry bag. When it begins to fray and not carry properly, we replace it. Thank God for supermarkets who you can consistently go in and trade in and get a new one when it is torn without paying for more. So please understand that when it comes to sales, we are building heavily on the relationship economy. So what does that mean? Number one, every interaction builds or reduces trust. Every interaction builds or reduces trust. I remember going to one of the major supermarket chains, and I've always said, oh, I want to shop online. There's a lady who told me, don't try with these guys. She had shopped 8 days before that and it had not come because of their system. So, in her roaming around the supermarket, she discovered that if your shopping doesn't go out today, tomorrow's shopping comes and goes on top. So, your shopping sinks lower. So, lower, woe unto you if for 3 consecutive days shoppings are incomplete, your name is at the very bottom. So, she eventually had to come to the supermarket itself. They're built on convenience. She had to come to the supermarket itself to do what? To pick her order, which should have been delivered to her house 8 days before. This interaction reduced her faith, her trust, right? So we said last week that customers rarely leave after one mistake. No. But when you make a mistake and you don't communicate, this becomes a problem. So trust is eroded. It's like a hillside that rainwater keeps coming down. What will have a landslide? So gradually, an unanswered message, a delayed response, unfulfilled promise, poor communication, inconsistent quality. There are bus companies I don't quite believe anymore because you can book a seat and then bus two doesn't have enough people. They combine bus one and two of you have the same seat. And you booked that seat for a reason. So interaction strengthens or weakens their confidence, strengthens or weakens their desire to stay with you. And every experience becomes part of a reputation. So now we know you cannot trust Shiro. Just go to Shiro's shop at your own peril. We must understand small movements create lasting impressions. So, what is the small movement you're making today and tomorrow and the day after that will make a lasting impression? If this is resonating with you, please let me see a YY in the chat. If not, ask a question. If you're not with me, if it's not making sense, please ask a question. Excellent, excellent. So every interaction builds or reduces trust. Number two, retention costs less than replacement. So this is where we keep talking about we need to understand our customer acquisition cost. What is that? It is what does it cost you to get one customer? You calculate your time, you calculate your effort in terms of marketing, you calculate everything that goes into getting that customer. In some industries, the customer acquisition cost is 10,000. You also calculate your customer lifetime value. So, in the duration of their lifetime as your customer, how much will they potentially generate for you? All right. When you understand those two numbers, you will realize it is cheaper to maintain a customer than to replace a customer. Most of us celebrate new customers while losing the existing ones. So we're replacing, but we are not maintaining. And you see, replacing has the cost that I've just described embedded in it. Maintaining just requires keeping the relationship. So is your product quality right? In my house, we do not negotiate which rice we buy. And I remember somebody telling me, your rice is so expensive. I have a cheaper one. Oh, I have bought cheaper. It has come out like ugali. I don't want. I want rice that comes out 1-1. I don't negotiate with when I'm buying maize in town, the guy I buy from. We don't negotiate. If I can't find him, I only buy maize from another guy if I'm really, really hungry. And maybe the two of them. And one is at a higher standard than the other. So, order of priority. You see, when your customers decide that you're worth staying with, they spend more. They probably will buy more often. So every time I'm at that particular bus stop, I look for this guy first. The other day I realized I don't necessarily need to be feeling hungry to buy maize from this guy. I just like his maize. See him and I get hungry. I want maize. And then I've gotten so used to buying a full cob that the guy sees me coming and he starts smiling. Because a lot of his customers are 10 bob, 20 bob, 10. That is just stupid. Who shows up? And when I point at a cob, he knows I'm taking the full cob. So there's a day I got there and I pointed at the cob of maize, and somebody else arrived, saw me pointing and said, Nipatie ile nusu ya hiyo. Give me the other half of that. The guy looked at him and said, anachukwanga mzima. She takes a full one. Another day, I was buying maize, and then two ladies come and they point to the same cob I point to on the same context that I'm only taking half. And so they start talking to each, and then they point at it. He says, no, ni yake. They start talking to each other in Kikuyu saying, Benai. I answered them, yote. Another day, some Kamba ladies came, and I'm like, what is your problem, people? My preference is a full comb from this guy. Now, what was frustrating them? What was frustrating them is was the one cob that was almost ready. So they wanted a quick purchase. No, 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 no. That cob belongs to Chesuvire. You see, growth accelerates when we can retain customers, but retention must be intentional. So then the easiest sale is often the next sale to an existing customer. Promote it. It's to sell to Modesta because she's been here, she's experienced value, and now she's good. She will bring not only her, but another one. We have people in our ecosystem. Every time they come for an event, they bring a friend or two. Thank you, Shiro, for being one of those faithful ones. You see, because she's happy with service, she is also happy to refer, and she's happy to be our advocate. I remember we were sitting somewhere with one of our regular clients, and somebody said, oh, I couldn't find somebody to teach this, so I canceled the event. And that regular asked, how can you say that? And you know, Chasubire. So, retention costs less than replacement. So can we focus on retention? Number three, customers stay where they feel valued. So are you listening to them? Are you responding promptly? Are you solving the problems they highlight, remembering their preferences? There's one of the places where I buy regularly, and I didn't know where the shop was until recently, but I don't go to the shop floor. So the other day I ordered, and it wasn't, I usually order through the owner when she's in the shop, but it was one of her team members. They said, "Hi, we've received your order. Is it pick up mtaani as usual?" They remembered my preference. I'm like, absolutely. That's why I have sent X, because they're like, yeah, we kind of thought that this is for the product and this is for the cost of pickup mtaani. Why do I like pickup mtaani? It's 142 shillings, 140 shillings. It's not much, but it brings it into my hood, into my mta, and it's walking distance from my house, right? So business that cares consistently becomes difficult to replace. There's a supermarket we like in the hood. We pass three or four others to get to that supermarket. We must care consistently about our people because that's how we become difficult to replace. My local chemist, between her and the main road are like six chemists. But if you stop at the main road and you tell a border guy, nipeleke kwa chemist, they will passisha you six chemists to hands. Why? She makes us feel valued. I call, she responds. If she doesn't call back, a team member calls back. If I ask for a discount, they're honest whether or not they can. Really stay loyal to businesses that make them feel invisible. To my women on the street, near our stage, there's a lady who is just nasty. She has the best looking produce, but she's mean and rude. You will not find Chesure there. I saw her dress down a customer. I had bought from her before. The next time I was approaching, she was being so nasty. My feet did the walking and we walked away because it was more than we could handle. Number four, trust must be designed. It doesn't happen by mistake. You have to intentionally plan it in and you must build it as a system. So, what is your customer journey? You map it. What are your points of interaction and what are the things you do at every point? And the one we forget to design is after sales service. So let me go to supermarket chains. Today I'm on their case, right? They all have loyalty programs. There's one that the loyalty program is on and off, unreliable completely. So I even lost the card for that supermarket. There is another one who you will have 11,000 points, but you have 1,100 shillings on your card. There is another one that is shilling for shilling from the two actually, that is shilling for the number of points you have. Where do you think I shop more? The place of shilling for shilling. Because you spend 100 shillings, sorry, shilling for point. You spend 100 shillings to get a point, right? Now, if the point of yours is worth 10 cents, how many coins do you have to spend to get 1,000, right? As opposed to the person who you spend 100, you get a point. So you spend 5K, you get 50 points. And that 50 points is 50 bob, right? So they have built it in such a way that before you pay, they ask, do you have the card? All right. Others have made it very difficult to, like one of the two that are shilling for shilling, you have to tell the cashier first before you pay that you want to redeem your points. The one, they ring it up, then you say, I'd like to redeem my points. They're like, how much do you want to redeem off your points? Right? So has done It's due diligence. So do you send follow-up messages? Do you give feedback on request? Do you answer FAQs, frequently asked questions? Do you have a database that can identify people? Do you say happy birthday to your clients? Not mandatory, but it's just things that people are looking for as after sales support. And when there's a complaint, it's your resolution process. Do we know that we must come with receipt for the thing we're complaining about within 7 to 10 days? That beyond that, we should not come? What is your system in managing your customers? Because what that does for us, it ensures that we retain them. Because when the system supports any action, that action becomes sustainable. And we are looking for sustainability. That's what we're looking for. So in the grand scheme of things, when we are sitting at our desks asking our teams, why isn't this working? Let us remember that if we have not designed a follow-up system, then we're in trouble. If we have not designed a follow-up system, we're in trouble, right? So what we figured out as a practical tool is just a retention checklist. What are these things that you must capture? Number one, who are your repeat customers? Do you have in your database a list, a place where you make note of the number of times Joe comes, the number of times Anne shows up, so that then you know that these are your repeat customers? Do you do random selection to keep your people engaged so that then people know, if I keep shopping, there are rewards, right? Do you follow up after purchases or when they purchase, like, see you next time, assuming there is a next time? What is your response speed? Because speed of response is critical, absolutely critical. Do you ask for feedback? Customers are invested when they know they can speak to you and you implement the suggestions, or at least you hear them out, right? Do you know why they return? So have you surveyed? These people have been shopping with us for 10 months, 2 years, 15 years. Do you know why they return? Do you think you know? You see, we must do several things. We must measure repeat customers, repeat business, and how much it takes us to gain a new customer. We must also teach our teams these particular metrics. Come back to you because they have no other choice. So that the day somebody develops a program like yours, they are gone. Shh, gone. Forget it. We ain't coming back. Mm. Or do you have such a good system that the day they are aware that they have to buy, they buy the smallest quantity they can buy so that when they come back, they buy from you? I keep thinking about the day I need to travel abroad. I must calculate my time properly because there are products I have to carry with me. Are your customers like that? Or are you hunky dory, easy squeezy lemon? Do they know? Do you know what keeps them there? Do you know what makes them trust you? So here's what we want us to do this week. Find your top 5 customers and ask them these simple questions. Why did they choose your business? Why have they stayed? What might cause them to leave? And what is one action that could strengthen each relationship that week? Remember, our customers are like our teams. People stay with us for different reasons. You say, oh, everybody will get a 10% raise. What if for me a raise is not important? I have dropped the questions for you in the comment section. What if for me Flexi hours is what it's important. And your benefit is we give you a raise of 10% every year. That's why we ask what one action can strengthen each relationship this week. Now, when you're doing mass market products, of course, you may not be able to get down to the very basic. But if you are a supermarket in a chain of supermarkets, you can pick that out. I'll give you a very interesting example. Between us and the airport, there are two Naivases. There's a Food Plus. But in a 5 kilometer radius, we've got four supermarkets, not small supermarkets. And there's a fifth one loading this in the next couple of days. Maybe by the end of the week, we'll have it. But I prefer one of the Naivas that's closer to us. Why? The other day I walked in, and so we bought Himalayan salt and those cassava crisp, that counter. And so we went in there and I was going to buy salt, and the lady said, "Hey, it's been so long. Where did you go to? How is your mom?" And I realized she knows my whole family. Fast forward to going shopping at the bakery, and the same thing happened. Why? We have selected our shops. Then particular Naivas has a different stocking. You know how Naivas says and all supermarkets kind of stock for not kind of, they stock for the common customer around them. So the things I want are all in this particular Naivas. The other doesn't have everything I need, right? So we are there all the time. I'd rather take my evening walk to there and then catch a bike back because it gives me a 3K walk. Okay. Now, the thing that keeps us there is the quality of service. There are even some of the cashiers, because we've gone there for more than 3 years. There are even some of the cashiers who, when they see you, they smile because you are a regular, right? So, what is one action that can strengthen your relationship with your customers today, this week, this month? There are those of us who love Naivas because of the sales that happen Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Carrefour has the same. And discover certain chains also have double point days. What are they doing? Like Monday in Carrefour is a double point day. Why do they do that? Shopping is less on Monday. So if I shop on Monday, for every 100 shilling I spend, I get 2 points. So if it is a driver for me, I will go on Monday. So who are your top 5 customers? And answer these 4 questions against each of them, right? What you worked, it is you learn, improve on that. Why did they choose your business? Because your people are kind and gracious. So that means kindness and grace must continue to be the pattern of your behavior, not just you as the owner, but of the whole business. Why have they stayed? Because you are reliable, because you keep them informed. So then you pick them. And should it ever be that you don't have something they said, you keep them informed. So quickly say, we don't have this week, it's coming on this and this day. When you ask them what may cause them to leave, those are the things you mitigate and ensure do not happen or happen as little as possible in the business. And based on that, you take your next action. What does that mean? It means that we are proactively choosing to build our businesses. Proactively choosing. All right? Why? We need to stop chasing more customers and begin to retain, because growth becomes more sustainable when we see our customers as relationships and not just transactions. The one business that can see us as a transaction is Uber drivers. You never know whether you'll be driven by any particular driver again. You never know. And so many of them treat us like statistics. I carried you, you paid me. But there are those who are gracious, so that even when you leave them that 5-star review, you're even praying for their success. The others are like, Lord, please don't let my child be driven by a driver like that. Trust is built in ordinary moments, not one big, fantastic moment. It's built in the consistent action that we put forth. Some of us have now gotten we now have Uber driver's number saved as cab guy, because you know if you call him, you and you're stuck, he will come and rescue you, he'll come and pick you. So individually within an ecosystem who has understood that his business is his car, it's in his office. So if he treats people right, first of all, he will attract good reviews, which will keep him near the top, and his business will be sustainable. So the strongest businesses are remembered not for what they sell, but for how they made people feel. Maya Angelou said it so beautiful. People may forget how you make them, what you tell them, but they will never forget how you make them feel. The same applies to our customers, because our customers are people. So, what is it that you're doing? What is it that I am doing that is ensuring I understand my customer and I consistently build trust? Because it is more cost effective to maintain a customer than to get a new one. Remember what I said at the beginning? We must understand our customer acquisition cost so that we can really manage our relationships with them, because it is easier to retain than to attract a new customer. So, our final thought is this: customers may buy because of your product, but they return because of the trust they experience. Trust is experienced through how we value our people. We have questions. Do we have questions? Or does somebody have a story that would encourage the rest of us of how they have managed to retain customers? Any questions? Any reflections? What is your takeout? Also free to unmute and just speak. Anyone? All right. Keep the customers I have. Excellent. That is a very good takeout to have. Any more takeouts? Anyone else with a takeout? It would be nice to hear a few more. All right. Let me hand it over to Joe. Trust is built in ordinary moments. Fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. Ordinary things that keep our customers with us. On the side of retention costs less than replacement, apart from customer acquisition cost, what is the other cost? Customer lifetime value. I believe that's what it was. So how much will they spend with you in the lifetime of them with your business? So once you know how much it takes you to acquire them, then you need to know what it will take to keep them. I hope that answers your question. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Coach Chesubire, for that insightful conversation and just reminding us that trust is a journey we begin with our customers when we map out what it is we would like them to get from us in terms of an outcome. And that outcome determines whether they'll come back or they'll move to your competitor. So thank you for those powerful insights. It's very interesting. I don't know, a very strange coincidence that from January, a few words are in all the conversations you have been sharing with us: consistency, intentionality, and trust. So thank you for this powerful conversation that even in a world full of AI, in a world full of competition that springs out every minute, we can still retain the best of customers that we need. And thank you to our regular participants, part of the Circle community, and for those who are joining us for the first time. I see some new faces, but I know them. So thank you for being here in this space today as we sharpen each other and we move. So what happens after the conversation today? Number one, we love feedback, and feedback is part of the trust building moment. So take a moment to just give us feedback in terms of what you would like us to improve on, what you enjoyed about the session, what you've taken away, and what you're going to implement. Thank you. Remember, in this space, we just ask you to implement one thing, build that one, then continue building on the foundations that you have set for your business to grow. So kindly give us feedback for those who have not yet given us any, or even for our regulars, give us feedback. That is what enables us to keep on running. For those who have not joined the circle, we have a community which we have aptly named the circle. And the reason why we have named it the circle is because as Afrikan MSME Collective, we exist to build stronger SMEs, stronger communities, and we share with you tips, hacks, prompts, knowledge that enable you to deliberately set up, sustain your business, be able to scale, and while you're doing all these things, remain successful in each stage. So we believe in a common purpose. You have sharpened us, even as we've continued to sharpen you. So for those who would like to join the community, I have shared the link. Please do that as we run. We shall be sharing the community guidelines on the group. Part of the feedback you gave us was that you would like to have a member day. And so Thursday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. is market day. Tell us your stories. Come tell us your products. Share your products. Allow us to also share your products to the wider community and make sure that you can go viral. Remember, it's about impact. We catalyze each other to be able to grow. We are also getting ready for our community activity. So thank you. We'll share the links in the group. We are also getting ready for our community activity on the 15th of August. Remember, sometimes life happens. So we are giving back hope and dignity to teen moms. And part of the, other than just sitting and spending the day with them, is making sure that they can have diapers for their young ones and also reduce period poverty by ensuring that they also get pads and a few of the other necessities that they need. So far, we are at about 30% of our target, and we are hoping that by the 15th of August, we shall have attained the 100%. Chesubre, you could kindly share the link on the chat space. Thank you. There were a few of us who were saying the QR code was not working. We have sorted that one out. It is now working. So thank you. Looking forward to working with you even as we impact these young ones and show them that this is not the end of life, it's the beginning, and we continue to work with them. As an organization, together with AFI Solutions and Bundle of Joy, as Afrikan MSME Collective and our partners, we've been taking them through a series of entrepreneurship classes, very basic things that they can start to run that even as they go back to study, they will be able to support themselves and support these beautiful children that God has given unto us as a community to work with them. We were just having jokes with Cherub Subire saying, we are now grandparents to quite a wide community. And now that God has brought them on our lap, we will continue to work with them. So thank you.
I share a short story
Oh,
in
please
Bundles of
do.
Joy.
Oh, please do.
I go to Kajiado every Wednesday. Tomorrow is the last one. And when I first got there, some of the girls were so discouraged. You could see they're like, me at my age, I'm a mom. And you know the way the things people say to them. And it was interesting last week, which was week 5. We added an extra week because we decided to give them a project. And so they'll be presenting to us about what they've learned. So last week we were just learning what they said, what they have learned. I was just asking, so what have you learned? What have you applied? And one girl said, I am so financially disciplined now. And it's only 5 weeks. So the power of being involved now in somebody's life is a game changer. So that for me was a really big one because seeing at least half of them, like they've started businesses. One, we were costing businesses. She's already doing, excuse me, a business to generate the income for the other business that she wants to do. So thank you for believing in us. Thank you for supporting us. And we pray that you will continually join us as we keep moving. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much, Subirian, for staying diligent to this course. You know, when we say we impact community, then God drops it on our lap. So thank you very much for those who are joining us. I know there's been a bit of conversation, and so even some of those who are joining us the first time today would like to support. So looking forward to work with you. Would be looking for mentors at some point. We do not know everything, so we'll be reaching out to you to see where you could plug in, and also as we give in cash and in kind, what tips, hacks do we have to make sure that these young children that God has given to us can come and plug into the space. They are actually the future generation. Thank you, the future leaders. Allow me to thank all of you for joining the call today and to join our and to also say thank you to our amazing sponsors, AFI Solutions, Chana Publishers, Regroup, Shala Global, the Cube Innovation Hub, Akiko Stories, Haki Integrated Services, SOA Events Institute, Aura Essentials, Thai Events, Conscious Works Consult, Zurich Consulting and Business Support Africa for standing in the gap with us, even as we continue to sharpen each other and grow. Allow me to also say thank you to our muscles, our back office team. I know I get flack from T-Bags every time I say that, but thank you, Miss T-Bags, Mr. Kwe, Miss Mimo, Miss Wamboi, Miss Julia, Miss Felicity, for standing in the gap with us and being strong, even as we continue to make sure that enterprises across Africa, because our audience is now not just Kenya, can set up, stabilize, scale, and be sustainably successful in each turn as they move. So thank you very much. Thank you to everyone on the call today. Looking forward to hearing from you, and you plugging in next week on Tuesday. We are here every Tuesday. And for those who have missed our previous recordings, we shall share the link on the chat space, and our YouTube channels are also up and running, and happy to serve you. Chesubire. You've told us to be consistent, and it's the little steps we take. Let me see my shoe size. I'm shoe size 8. Okay, so I'll take those
Tips.
steps, shoe size 8, every day deliberately, as we make sure that our customers can work with us. Parting short words of wisdom. And thank you so much for graciously. Okay, it used to be a hot seat. It's no longer hot anymore. So I don't think we're going to make it hot for you for sitting on that precious warm seat. Over to you.
One thing to understand is that we are in the relationship economy and we will thrive or we will close because of how we manage the relationships around us. So let's be careful to manage relationships. No longer can we say, I am the best, because people are also looking at other metrics. to stay with you. So manage the relationships around you.
Thank you very much, Chesubire. Manage the relationships around you in the relationships economy. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot add anything else other than to wish you well. Manage those relationships. Trust is a journey. Manage your customer journey map properly, and you're blessed. And may the seeds you sow fall on fertile ground. So all the best as you go out to your fields. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening. What else have I left a good of? And all the goods that are available. I remain yours faithfully, part of the African MSME Collective team, the original Joe Mukoko. See you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.